We love Dune, from the first movie back in 1984 to the latest version in 2021. Of course, they're based on the novels, which is pretty much why it has become a classic due to its solid foundation in the books and then the movie adaptations. However, at the recent Gamescom opening night live, we got a bunch of game reveals, and I think we can definitely agree that no one expected to see an open-world survival MMO Dune game from Funcom. There's definitely a lot of base material, world building, characters, factions, and more that would potentially make for an awesome game here, but we never know until we can see actual gameplay and play it for ourselves. So in this one, we're going to go over the information for the game that's out there so that you are caught up to speed with everything about Dune Awakening. So if you do enjoy these videos, click like down below to show support, and subscribe for all the other coverage over Gamescom and more over the next couple days. Put in the comments if you ever thought you would see a Dune game just like this one, and I just want to say that there is currently only the CGI trailer out for the game, which looks great, but of course doesn't represent what the game will actually be. However, since this is all that we have on the game so far, you may see it looped a couple times in this video. I also love how the focus is on the sandworm, which is one of the iconic creatures from the Arrakis planet, so I did enjoy this trailer, but of course it doesn't represent anything about the game. But let's jump into information that's actually about the gameplay and what will be in the game. Of course, the game itself will be set in a reimagining of Arrakis, which is the planet also known as Dune, the fictional desert planet. This is where the game will be set in. And on the Steam page, it says, Dune Awakening combines the grittiness and creativity of survival games with the social interactivity of large-scale, persistent multiplayer games to create a unique and ambitious open-world survival MMO. Rise from survival to dominance in a vast and seamless Arrakis shared by thousands of players. I absolutely love survival games, and so I'm very excited about this one. However, the MMO tag is a little bit worrying, as lately recent MMOs generally haven't ended up exactly as we hoped that they would. So I do wonder if an open world survival single player game may have actually gone down better and would have been the way to go with this one. But I'm gonna stay optimistic until we can see and learn more, as I do always enjoy playing games with friends, so we're gonna have to wait and see. The variety of factions within the Dune universe would lend well to an MMO style game, and I am intrigued by the idea of seamlessly sharing Arrakis with thousands of players. They do go on to say, survive the most dangerous planet in the universe, build shelters against sandstorms, maintain your still suit, and master the old ways to walk even the deepest deserts. Avoid or be devoured by the colossal sandworms that dwell beneath the sands. So from this we can glean that there will be some kind of base building system, and it will be needed to survive out in the desert. I also really enjoy the idea of seeing someone get completely devoured by a colossal sandworm. We know in the movies they generally go for these spice miners, but we'll have to see how they behave once the game is actually playable. I also slightly worry about how the PvP might be handled in this multiplayer survival MMO. If we look at games like Rust, which are super fun but definitely aren't for everyone, sometimes you do end up logging back in and your whole base and hours of farming is just completely gone. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this side of things in this MMO. We do also have some details on the gameplay loop, in which they say, explore the ever-changing face of Arrakis, walk the ruins of long-forgotten biological testing stations, and you can scavenge from fallen spaceships. Furthermore, you can head into unmapped sectors and be the first to discover secrets and riches before the Coriolis storms once again shift the sands and alter the landscape. From this, I can definitely say that I really like the idea of these desert storms that move through the map and uncover and change areas to loot and gather items or resources. It sounds like it would keep things fresh and would encourage players to rush out into the desert after a storm has passed. Here's a bit of detail about the PvP and combat, which does sound very interesting. Control the spice, control Arrakis. Hunt for spice blooms and deploy your harvester, then protect it from opportunist raiders and rival factions. Soak the sands in blood as massive battles shift seamlessly from foot to vehicles and from ground to ornithopters in the sky. To me, this sounds like there may be a mix of players or AI NPCs attacking you for spice once you start to harvest, which is an extremely valuable resource that's only found on Arrakis. I'd really like the idea of being able to deploy the harvesters ourselves, because you do see that in the novels and in the movies, and it will have a huge risk-reward aspect to it because you can be attacked, but also there's the added danger of attracting sandworms. It also seems like there may be some kind of guild or player-made faction system, so here's what they say. Make plans within plans. make a name for yourself amongst the inhabitants of Arrakis, wield influence and force and impact the world, build your own faction through spice harvesting, trade, subterfuge, and open conflict. So it definitely seems like there's a focus on the multiplayer aspect with creating factions, growing them, harvesting spice, which is obviously a very valuable resource, even down to the vehicles they mentioned before about going from land to vehicle, even to the sky in the ornithopters. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that actually plays like once we can see more. In addition to this, we also have some details on what sounds like there will be a good character creator, abilities and enhancements, crafting systems, and of course building. They say, awaken the sleeper, tailor every aspect of your character, consume spice to conquer your senses and acquire powerful abilities, hone your craft, become sought out for the finest creations, and construct your fortress in the style of your choosing. The journey is yours to shape. So there's definitely going to be a lot of customization down to how you build, how your character looks, what abilities you can get when you consume the spice, or if you maybe want to sell it because it's definitely valuable, at least within the movies and novels. So there's a lot to unpack here, and obviously not any gameplay or anything like that to go from. So I'm very interested, very optimistic, but of course guys, we have to be cautious with these things, as these CGI trailers generally don't show what the game is about. So we're gonna have to wait until we can see more. But I would love for you guys to comment if you have watched the recent Dune movie and what you thought of it. And if you did enjoy this video, you should click like down below to show support because it does help us out. And you can subscribe for all the extra information, games, guides, and so on that will be coming out on the channel in the next few days. The two videos that are on screen now, we think you might really enjoy. If you found this one interesting, you're probably going to like the ones that are on the screen now, but it's totally up to you. They're on the screen if you do want to check them out, but tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.